A little deeper into what we saw the slate of games from week 13. And let's start with this Seahawks game, guys, against the Giants. Seattle, not quite the same mojo they had to start the season when Russell Wilson was getting all that MVP talk. But he did try to make something happen early after that happened, right? It's really good when your defense can give you some points on the board. They were down 3-0. Excuse me, they were up 3-0. They didn't get a touchdown, but it's a 5-0 lead at the break. Sounds like more of a baseball score than a football score, but nonetheless, Alfred Morris. Remember him? Yeah. Giants convert the two-point conversion, so now New York leads at 8-5. Later in the third, Colt McCoy, play action to Morris. First career receiving touchdown for Morris. Giants missed the extra point, so it's 14-5. About 6 minutes to go. Seahawks down 17-5 now. Russ, Chris Carson, right there, gets inside the pylon. So it's now a 17-12 ball game. The Hawks would get it back with a minute to play. Russ looking deep and overthrow. Oh, almost picked off by Julian Love, but somehow Seattle still has life. Wilson now under pressure. Gets taken down by Leonard Williams. Huge play there, because it sets up this 4th and 18. Less than 5 to go. I mean, this is it, Russ. Got to get some room to let it go. And there goes the Hail Mary. But it wasn't far enough anyway. There's your ball game. The Giants win it 17-12. More now from Dan Graziano.
Jabril Peppers of the Giants. This Seattle team scores 30 points a game. They got 12 today. How'd you do it?
Hey, attention to detail, trusting ourselves, communication, and just playing our brand of ball.
Down 5-0 at halftime. What was the message? What was the discussion in the locker room?
Just keep playing. 5-0 is nothing. You know, we know it's gonna be a 60-minute fight. It was only 30 minutes at that point. We know if we keep coming out playing our brand of football, good things happen for us.
And obviously on the offense, you guys got things going in the run game in the second half. You were expecting that?
Absolutely. You know, we practice hard, man. The O-line does a great job. The running backs run hard. If you keep pressing the issue, man, and you stay disciplined, you stay true to what you do, good things happen for you.
And a DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Russell Wilson, these guys are having superstar years.
Yes, sir.
What was the key to slowing them down?
Just keep them in front of you. They gonna beat you. You know, offenses don't like to dink and dunk down the field. You know, we know they like their chunk plays. They got their star players who can stretch the defense. Keep everything in front of you. Keep your eye discipline and rally to the check downs, the crossing routes. Keep making them snap the ball.
4-game winning streak. You're in first place in your division. What's the key for you guys to keep this going?
We don't care about none of that, man. Next week, a new challenge. We're just going to keep stacking.
Thanks very much.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, new on SportsCenter. Let's hear from the losing side, Pete Carroll.
This game was a defensive ball game right from the get-go, and they played really tough and gave us a hard time all day long. We had trouble scoring, moving the football, and we were giving them trouble scoring and moving the football as well. And it's just an uncharacteristic type of feeling that we're not putting any points on the board, and that 5 points just didn't hang very well. One score and you're out. You're out of the lead, and I was really surprised that we weren't able to slow them down in the third quarter running the football. They ran some basic stuff and they got away from us, and those 2 drives in there, they were able to get enough going where that was the difference in the ball game. Offensively, we had trouble all day long, and give them credit. They've been playing really good ball, but I need to look at the film and see what the heck happened, why it was like that so much so. But games are hard, games are tough, and we can't let this thing knock us off. Getting going and moving forward, and it's really important we get right back to business again, and it's the only choice we have, really, so that's what we'll do.
A.J. McCord.
Coach, you said it was uncharacteristic type of feel out there today. What exactly was uncharacteristic? Just the offense, Russ's play? What? Maybe be more specific.
Yeah, we didn't move the ball. We weren't making plays to change the field position. We didn't chunk them at all. we actually ran the ball pretty well early, but throwing the ball was a struggle. We took some just monster losses in the sacks, that just take you out. The whole drive is just totally challenged from there on. And because they weren't like 6 or 8 yard sacks, they were like 20s. And so unfortunately, all of those situations just kept us from getting any momentum at all, and we never got moving. It just doesn't like that. That's not, none of us have seen us play like that, and so it was really, very difficult.
Michael Sean Dugar.
Hey, Pete, how much of the passing game struggles today would you say was on Russ? Well,
I mean, he's in the middle of it all, and there was I need to look at the protection and see how long we were hanging on to the ball. It felt like he was taking a good look down the field, like we weren't immediately rushed, and so we'll see. I need to talk to Russ. I haven't even visited with him at all yet about it. We'll talk about it.
All right, Rob and Tim back here with us now. Rob, let me start with you. What exactly went wrong for the Seahawks today?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that went wrong. First of all, I don't think they showed up. And you could kind of see by the game that they probably didn't have a great week of practice either. When you let up almost 200 yards of rushing on defense trying to stop the run, it's hard to win a football game. So when you look at Seattle, offensively, they're struggling. Defensively, they really couldn't stop them. They could not stop the Giants from moving the ball down the field. You see these receivers volleyballing the ball up in the air. When you have turnovers like this, you look at the stat line, you see Russell Wilson throws an interception. Well, it really wasn't. He didn't really throw the interception to a guy wide open. He hit the guy in his hands, and he volleyballed it up in the air, and it was an interception. So those are plays that when those happen, it's like, man, it just doesn't feel like our day. And you heard Pete Carroll talk about, man, it just didn't seem like us, didn't seem like our team out there. And when you're giving up big plays, giving up sacks, can't stop the run, it's really hard to win. And it just looked like they didn't show up.
Yeah, I agree with Rob there. And I think the interesting part of it, Michael, is when you look at, how Seattle plays, it's kind of what Dan Graziano was talking about in the interview, is we're used to seeing them be explosive. And I think the thing the Giants did a good job of is limiting explosive plays. And, just doing that by itself, will give you a chance. And then, what Pete Carroll was talking about in that interview is the negative plays that basically just destroyed drives. And so I think that's the frustrating thing. It's a little bit just surprising and unusual to see Seattle play like that. When we're used to seeing them, with so many explosive and big plays, especially with their receivers. I would also say this, when the game, when Seattle had a chance at the end, we're used to seeing Russell Wilson with kind of some of that magic, that fourth quarter magic of running around and making plays and basically finding a way to win. Well, the Giants did an excellent job of closing the game out, of rushing the passer in that situation, keeping him contained, and oftentimes getting to him.
Well, let me give some credit to the Giants here real quickly, because they've won now 4 in a row. And as Dan said earlier, they lead this division, NFC East, which is not exactly saying much. But again, someone's going to win the division. Someone's going to the playoffs. So, Tim, what's your take on this New York squad right now as it relates to potentially winning this division?
Yeah, look, I think you're right. I mean, look, no one could have seen it happening like this. I mean, Alfred Morris, having his first receiving touchdown against the Seattle Seahawks in this situation. I mean, it's kind of maybe it's 2020. I don't know. It's kind of a bizarre situation when you look at this division, you look at who's contributing. Look, Colt McCoy just went and beat a good football team, with a bunch of, guys that weren't scheduled to be playing for this team. So, look, I think you have to give them credit for hanging in there, for kind of not flinching in the environment that they're in. Look, do I think they're built to sustain success going forward? No, it doesn't look like that to me. But that doesn't mean we can't give them credit for doing something that's really hard to do, and they did it to Seattle today.
Rob, what's your take on New York?
Yeah, look, I agree with Tim here. I don't think this year's the year that they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but this is a great building block for Joe Judge. Hats off to that coaching staff, getting this team at midpoint of the season to this final push here to be in a position to win the division. Yeah, okay, the division's weak, but if they can go out there, have some of these games where they upset some people, you beat Seattle, you go into the playoffs, and you might have a chance of catching lightning in a bottle. You never know. It's the NFL. You never know. You're talented, just like everybody else. But hats off to Joe Judge, especially in this tough year when you're a new coach. You didn't have offseason, you didn't have OTAs, mini camp, training camp. So in the start of the year, it's tough for these new coaches. Right now, you're probably seeing, a little bit of that chemistry with a new team and a new coach. And, they have a bright future right now, especially with the quarterback. I know he wasn't out there. Colt McCoy, hats off to Colt McCoy getting a victory. But, I think New York has a bright future, especially with Joe Judge as a head coach.
All right, so New York picks up a 4th straight win that drops Seattle